Hi, guys. I'm actually on time for once. I didn't think I was going to be because my mom just called. So I was like, oh, I don't know how long this phone call is going to take. And she calls obvious at 12:29. So here we are, though. I actually made it on time, guys. Yay, round of applause for me. Um, Glad to see that there are a lot of people here. Because what I'm going to say today, I don't believe or is going to be necessarily a popular opinion, but it's something I need to say. And yeah, I think it's something that a lot of people might want to say, and I just want to make things really clear about things. Because hey, Kellyanne, hi, pickle lover, anxious for peace, blues girl. I, I don't know why Irish crime and coffee time. I want to say it the opposite way every time. Um, hey, who else is here? Let's see. Hey, Char. I don't. Is it Char or Char? I'm referring to you though, so if I'm saying it wrong, I apologize. Um, I am doing okay today. Actually, last night was really rough for me with the live that I did. And I knew it was gonna kind of spark some things with me, and I definitely had some bad dreams, and I woke up and I was throwing up because of the anxiety built up from that. But I need to work through it, so I have no regrets about it. It's just some of the stuff caused some really bad PTSD, and that is just how I handle it. But I'm okay. I'm okay. I actually, I fell back asleep afterwards, and it's all good. It's just, there are certain things sometimes from your past that you kind of compartmentalize and you don't deal with, and then when you do, it sounds like Char. Okay, okay. I just wanted to make sure. I mean, 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna say it wrong, but now that I know it's for Charlotte, that makes sense. I don't. It's like, um. So yeah, and I appreciate that, guys. A lot of you were, most all of you actually. I don't think anybody wasn't supportive last night, and I wish last night's live had gone better. I kind of got off of that, and I don't know, was kind of feeling off about everything. Um, but I feel a little bit better because you guys were all really really supportive, and it means so much to me that anybody was listening at all. But yeah, so here's the thing, guys. On here, I'm noticing that there's a lot of stuff going on that I don't particularly like, and it's happened to me at this point. So I support a lot of different creators. I don't have an issue with any creator really, like, and I know we all have really different opinions on different people that have channels on here, and I respect that. I want that. You might not like a channel that I like, and vice versa. And I want to make it really clear and say this publicly. I do not follow everything that goes on the internet. I cannot keep up with everybody's particular issue with a person, with a channel, I don't know. Like, I have a family, and, I'm a full-time grad student. I'm not on here all the time. So, I feel like sometimes I step on people's toes. Hi, Liberty Farmer. Just because I don't know what's going on, and what other people have dealt with. And I I just, I'm not going to keep up with all of that. I'm not, I mean, I guess relatively new to the scene in terms of, going too far back, especially with some channels. I definitely mostly watch like Natasha and in this, genre for a while. Hey, Amanda. And I never really venture out too much from that, during that time. And so I can't keep up with it. I don't know. So I'm learning as I go along with that about who, about different things. But here's the thing, guys. I'm not going to base my opinion on somebody based on, what others feel. And I know that sounds kind of rough sometimes. So let me kind of rephrase that. So, if somebody has an issue with somebody, but if I haven't seen the behaviors, or, and then here, I know people are going to say, but, Natasha never did anything personal to you, Emma. Well, here's the thing. I understand that. But, that was a community that I was involved in, and I was able to see a lot of the stuff firsthand. And it feels different to me, because it felt different to me. So if people have like a strong opinion on somebody, I'm not going to base how I feel about it just because other people, and I'm also not going to restrict where I comment and what I comment, because I'm allowed to go wherever I want on here, as are all of you. And I don't want anybody to feel like they can't comment on something just because they don't know a history, or because I can agree with, like, let's say there's a creator that I don't know very well, and I agree with some of the points that they're making. I'm allowed to go in their chat or on a comment and say how I feel about things. That's what we're allowed to do. It's our right. You know, we have free speech in this country. And I believe in most places in the world, well, most places that a lot of you guys are from anyway. And I think that that should be encouraged. I agree with you, Lycan. I think that individuality should be encouraged. We don't all have to do things the same way. And just because I support a creator doesn't mean I agree with everything that they do. Yeah, because I don't. I don't. There are things I see with creators that I don't like. And it's my right to say that. And, you know, I've always been the one that give credit where credit is due. I don't disagree with everything that Natasha does. I don't disagree with everything at all. There are some things that Natasha does that I think are very good. There's a lot of things, though, that I think are very bad. And at this point, I've been very clear. The only person that is going to change my opinion about Natasha is Natasha. However, I am open to see, yeah, a lot of people from old communities. You're right. And I don't know all of you. Like, I don't. I'm trying to be nice to everybody because I like everybody. But I'm not going to be silenced if I see something that I don't like. And I don't want people, you know, and if people want to not support me because I say something about somebody that they like, I think there's a problem with that, but that's your right. I think you guys are getting the point I'm trying to make. And I actually kind of ranted through this earlier because I got an email this morning that I didn't really, that kind of set this off for me because, right. But you know, we come from all sorts of communities, and I don't know everybody here. I don't know what their past is. And quite frankly, I'm probably not going to go digging into people's pasts because I base what I say off of what I see. I'm open to hearing more about people. That I don't want that to be wrong. And I also am not denying that things that go on between creators aren't real. I'm not saying that at all. I believe that there are things that go on that are inappropriate and shouldn't happen. But I wasn't involved in that. But I also don't want anybody feeling uncomfortable. So it really is a hard place for a creator to be. It really is, because I'm not a kind of person that dislikes people for no reason. I base my opinions off of a lot of different factors. And I just, yeah, but the thing is, Pickle Lover, a lot of people, they're not bringing it up to my channel for, no, like this isn't about you. I mean, I think, you know, your situation probably falls into the umbrella of the stuff going on. But nothing that is about you personally with me anyway, but I've seen it elsewhere. And I don't, yeah, I don't dislike Natasha for things that she's done in her past. That's not what it is. I've just been with her a long time, and I've seen behaviors I don't like. You know, I don't say things are fact. I don't say things from her past are fact because I wasn't here. I didn't see it. So I don't say that. And I speculate and if people, like, I'll look at other information and then I'll make a judgment for myself. And I'm also not going to expect other people to feel, I don't want an echo chamber here. I want people to disagree with me because I think those conversations need to be had for people to move on. You know, I think that's what makes a community great, is that people can say how they feel, and they can say, you know, they don't feel that they can't comment or agree with somebody because somebody that they support doesn't like it. I don't like it. It doesn't make sense. And I'm trying to think of how I want to address this, because I don't want to go, I have to be very careful about this in particular. But so I don't appreciate, and you are welcome to your opinion to say that if I do something that I will lose subscribers. That's your right to have an opinion about. And, you know, thank you for taking the time to email me to let me know that, you know, if I continue going somewhere or commenting on somebody's channel or any of those things, that I, you know, will lose subscribers. And if I do lose subscribers, you know, I think that's messed up, but that's your right to unsubscribe for me. It really is. You know, but I'm allowed to, like, even if there's a video that might be about, it doesn't mean that I don't like the person. It just means that I agree with some of the points that are being made. Now, we're going to take names out of everything, right? We're going to take names out of everything, right? If I see a behavior that I don't like, I'm allowed to say that, and I'm allowed to call that out. That's what friends do. I don't think that it's healthy to keep your mouth shut about things that bother you, or that I'm not going to, echo something that I don't believe in. That's just not what I'm going to do. And if that means I'm not somebody's friend or I'm not being supportive, like, we can have a conversation about that. I'm totally down to have a conversation about that. But I don't see why we would have to. That I don't like that at all. Come on. Come on. Like, I think I've made it very clear that I'm supportive of a lot of people on here. Um, and I do. I support a lot of people. And there's a lot of smaller creators that I'm not familiar with, but from what I have seen personally, I don't have an issue with them. And if they say something that I agree with, I'm gonna agree with it. And I appreciate that you guys are actually being. I wasn't expecting people to be nice about this, because a lot of the time. But I know that when people come here, like, they know that I'm not about. They know that I'm not about that. I'm not about, like, targeting somebody. And even with Natasha, like, I speak on it because it struck a chord with me. And I'm all for it. And at this point, like, because I've seen everything with her, and I only speak on what I've seen for the most part. And when I have mentioned things from her past, I always say it's speculation because I wasn't there and I don't know. But I can put behaviors together. But there are some people here that have some really long histories with each other. And I cannot possibly know about everything. And I'm not gonna. I think it's unhealthy to dislike people just because somebody has an issue with them. If I have an issue with somebody, first of all, I'm probably not going to tell you, because a lot of the time I can be very petty, and it's not something that needs to be brought, to the forefront. But if I do have a fundamental issue with somebody, I will figure out a way to do it respectfully and say it. But I also don't want people to agree with me. You're welcome to not agree with me. If you happen to like that creator, continue to like that creator. It's not going to change how I treat you or talk to you. And that goes for Natasha's supporters too. It's not going to, yeah, right. No, like, Legion, I agree with that. It's things that harm people's lives. Like, well, that's where you and I differ a little bit. I do care about people's feelings, just because I'm an empathetic person like that. But that's the thing. I think that's one of the problems that I'm trying to get over, is that I can't not be myself, especially on here. Like, this is like who I am. I'm not going to change who I am or put on an act or a front just so, like, people will like me here, because that's not who I am. And I'm not going to, not be who I am. If I don't stand for something that's going on, I'm allowed to agree with things. I'm allowed to comment on any channel that I wish to, as are all of you. And I'm allowed to state opinions. It doesn't mean that, I commented once on, and this was a while back, so we're not even going to talk about anything recently. I agree. I think that, I'm not saying you don't care about people liking. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying that, I think you have an ability to kind of, I don't want to say you're braver than I am, but you might be, at least, like, publicly on here. I think for me, I'm a lot more hesitant, just because I overthink things, and I try and see things from, like, every point of view, and I question myself sometimes, but I really shouldn't, because how I feel is how I feel. But a while back, I commented on, it might have actually even been one of Natasha's posts. I think it was one of Natasha's posts, actually. And I got called out for not, for commenting on it entirely, by both, like, camps. They were like, well, you're a hypocrite, you're over here. And I'm like, all I'm here doing is trying to clarify a situation that I saw. And I don't understand how that's betrayal of something. I don't get that. And I don't understand that. And all I was trying to do, hey, Dave, all I was trying to do was clarify a situation that I had seen that I didn't agree with how Natasha was presenting it. That's the only reason I was on there. I wasn't on there to, like, bash anybody else. I wasn't on there to, yeah. Like I said, I don't know. I know that a lot of people in the chat don't always get along with each other, but that's what I like about this chat, is that people are respectful. And I think that's healthy. I think that's healthy to have those conversations, because I think really all anybody wants, even from Natasha, is just to be, like, heard, acknowledged, and have an apology. Like, at least acknowledge that what you did was wrong and move on. and move on. That's really all I think. I know there are a lot of people that won't be good enough for them. I know that, but I think, hey, Tick Turtle Gum, I am okay. I had a rough night, but I am okay. Um, I was kind of fired up and angry this morning just because I don't like being told what to do, but I'm not going to be told what to do. I'm just not. So, um, if I lose subscribers because people don't like what I have to say, then I lose subscribers. But I would really hope that you guys and everybody here is being respectful. I'm talking about anybody who, yeah, that's what the beauty of it is. Like, we're allowed to have disagreements, and I don't want an echo chamber. I don't want everybody to agree. If you do agree with me, I mean, great. Like, I think a lot of people do agree with me, even if they're not vocal about it. But I don't, if I say something that, and even like being a hypocrite, right? So if I do something that people feel are hypocritical, and people from, have called me out on some certain things, and that's actually why I kind of tweaked some of the stuff that I was doing, because I agree that some of the things that I had done were hypocritical, and I did actually take a few videos down because that's not what I stand for. I don't stand for hypocrisy. I'm not going to do or hold anybody to a standard that I don't hold myself to. That was my whole thing with when I was a manager. I'm not going to ask an employee to do something that they have not seen me do and that I wouldn't do, because that's not how you lead, in my opinion. For me personally, that's just how I run things and how I do things. Yeah, well, it was an email, Amanda. It was an email, and I don't know who it was from, because they don't ever use an email that has their YouTube name in it, of course. Just telling me to be very careful about what I'm doing because I will lose subscribers. And, that could be in reference to several things, but, I don't like that. Nobody should be doing that. Come on. There's nobody here that I necessarily dislike, except I don't care for Natasha Cooper. I don't know a lot of people. I'm going to mention some names, and I hope that people don't take this the wrong way. And I'm going to go with one that I think people might disagree with me on here, especially with the names that I'm seeing in here, but I hope people will hear me out. I think an example of that for me, and it's just because this is something that I had a conversation with somebody about recently, somebody like Save Robbie. I don't have an issue with him. As of that, yeah, okay. Hi, AJ. I'm glad to see you here as well. I don't have an issue with him personally. However, I'm not going to tell other people that their experience with him, didn't happen or anything like that, because that's not my place to do. And I'm open to seeing information about things, but he's always been quite nice to me. And what do I think that and I've seen the things, but I feel like I do think he's tried to apologize to some people. And I don't want, but that's okay. That's the beauty of things. Like, we don't all have to like the same people. We don't. And I know there are people in here that don't care for him or have had experiences with that, but that's not going to change what I think about him. Personally, and I'm not saying that, things don't change in the future. I mean, I take information and I piece it together as whatever, there's a method to my madness. You know what I mean? And I'm going to comment on whatever I want to comment on. So if I had like some points that a creator's making, I'm going to comment on them. I just am. And I'm not going to like apologize for it. And I do think that there's a lot of hypocrisy that goes on in the community itself. Let's take names out of it, guys. Let's take names out of it. Hands down. And that's what I love about this chat, is because a lot of people, I'm not familiar with what went on between people. I have told people that 1,000 times. I don't know. And it's not that I don't care and I don't want to know. It's not that at all. I'm open to seeing information, and I will, but I also base my opinions off of my own personal experiences and stuff like that. But it doesn't mean that I'm not going to welcome people who have issues with people I like into my chat, first of all. And second of all, I love that people here aren't attacking each other for it. That's wonderful. I think that's great, because we don't all have to like the same creators. It's not, we're individual people with individual minds. There have been people in here that I see very active actually in Natasha's chat and comments that have come in here and been welcomed. And they might make a comment and, I'll respond to it, but they're welcome to their opinion. And I'm glad that they have an opinion, please. But I don't like the hypocrisy, and I see it going on in a lot of places, including myself. Okay, let's see here. Okay, I can see that. Let's see. Yeah, Nicole and Like in here. Yeah. I know that Lycan's another one of those. One of the people that some people would have an issue with. I know that. And I apologize. Actually, you guys are being respectful, so that's what I like about this. So if I'm glad that nobody's being really inappropriate about that. So I don't know if you guys want to continue that discussion or how you guys want to handle it, but I don't think you guys seem to agree on that. But I hope you guys do and work it out, because I don't think that that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to read. I need glasses really badly, and I'm trying to read. Some of these are a little long. Let's see. But right, yeah, I want to. Right, you have a good point there, AJ. So I do feel that, I didn't donate to her legal fund. Okay, I want to make that clear. But I did super chat a lot, and I donated to other things, and I felt that, and I did, like, some of it was regarding, like, the stuff that she was going through, and I just never donated to that PayPal. I think I did super chat her with the message of that, and I did feel lied to, and I think a lot of people start to feel that way. And I also, I mean, I might, Dave, I might. Yeah, I think everyone's doing fine in chat too. I'm just trying to read some of these are like longer comments, and I have a hard to, like, it all blends together. So I'm trying to read them, and I'm only seeing names. Um, I'm gonna go to the dollar store, guys. I'm gonna get some reading glasses. I'm going to, or I'm gonna like blow up the letters here. I'm in denial that my hey Michelle, I'm in denial that my vision is going. I always had perfect eyesight until, like, I hit 30. Um, a membership has been paused to recliner clean. I don't know what causes that, Liberty Farmer. That's interesting. Um, I'm not sure of that at all. Yeah, right. So that's the beauty of it. There are people here that I see getting along in all sorts of places that don't like the same creators because of what, things like that. And and I think, you know, there was a good point made this morning. Let's take names out of things. Let's take names out of things. Can we not agree that we can agree with, like, certain things that we see if we don't have any names attached to it? Because I think a lot of the time, like, that actually made me really think about it. It's like, okay, if we take any names out of the context, like, and then that is your right. You can like whoever you want. I want you to like whoever you want. Nobody. That is what my entire point is here. We are allowed to like whoever we want, and we are allowed to talk to whoever we want, and it doesn't mean that we're bad people. It doesn't mean that we're the enemy. It doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean it at all. And I was going to come on here really angry, but I actually took a time out. I pushed back the live because I do have a temper. And I don't want anybody here to see that, because that's not a great way of communicating. That just ends up making people angry, and it's off-putting, at least in my experience in my personal life when it's happened. But I was angry about that email. I don't appreciate that. If people don't like that I commented somewhere, or if I agreed with something, and they don't want to support me because of that, I mean, that's your right. That's your right. But I think they're getting the wrong idea. It doesn't mean that I dislike the person as a person. It doesn't mean I dislike everything that they say. It doesn't mean that at all. And everything gets misconstrued. This is the internet, and everybody takes it as, like, an act of treason to, like, comment or agree with something. And I hate it. I just hate it. Because I like everybody for the most part. Like, there are some people that I don't care for, sure. But I doesn't. They're really few and far between. I will be outspoken about the folks. Like, if I have something important to say about, yeah, well, Amanda, this was a different kind of email. This was an email because this is an email that I received because I commented on a post that I guess somebody didn't like because they felt it was against somebody that they like. And this is a person that I'm not, like, they misconstrued it because I just agreed with some of the stuff that was said, which I am allowed. I agree. Like, again, I feel that way too. Hey, Irvin. And they were just saying that, I need to be careful because I will lose subs. And I don't like that. And I don't think, I want to also be clear. I don't think that when emails like that are sent, I don't think that's the responsibility of any creator. I don't think Natasha sent anybody to send me emails. I don't think anybody sent anybody to send me emails. That is the sole action of the person who sent the email. End of story. I think that, sometimes people's opinions are influenced by other things, but I don't think that anybody sent anybody to do that, of course. So I just don't. Who's watching me? Who's watching me? Anxious for peace. Oh, Irvin. Yeah. Well, I don't really care if people are going to go around convincing anybody to do that. I like to think that the people in this chat are good people. Like, I like all the names that I see in here. I haven't really had anybody that I personally have a problem with in here, except for a few, and we've talked about it. And I want to have those conversations. Like, if I have an issue with somebody, and if I'm like, not, I will go directly to that person if it's something important. Like I said, I can be very, very petty, and I can be very, I can get upset about things that don't need to be get upset about. So that's why I don't bring it to the forefront, because I get over it. And a lot of the time it's not something that matters. But when it is something that matters, I will come directly to that person. But it doesn't mean that I can't agree with something that's said. Like, even if like someone said something about Natasha, right? And I agree, or I disagree, or it's my right to defend her if it's something that I agree with. Like, I'm just using that as an example. It is my right to do that. Doesn't mean it changes how I feel about Natasha. I don't care for her. I don't like what she's done to people. I think that what she's done to people is wrong and borderline criminal in a lot of places. But, if something, I'm just using this as an example. This wasn't what it was. But if she says something or I agree with a point, I'm allowed to say that. End of story. And I'm going to. And that goes for anybody. I think that life is too short. Like, this is YouTube, guys. I have a life outside of here. I like to think you guys do too. So we don't need to get like all involved and caught up in that. Like, and it's getting out of hand. It's getting out of hand. I don't know what it's going to take. Like, people going real life, people like, sending emails to people that, or text messages for, in my case, to people they don't know. And this is right. Well, this is my channel. Exactly. And I'm going to speak about how I speak about things. And the beauty of it is that there are people that I see in here right now who I know disagree with me on some things, and they're still in here being respectful and friendly. And I think that's wonderful. I know that there are people in here that don't like everything that I have to say, but they still participate, and they still, because it's the people that are in here. I don't want everybody to agree with me. That's not like, that's not a good friend, in my opinion. I can't be, if I'm not going to change. I'm not going to think there's anything wrong with my behavior if nobody calls me out on it. And people do call me out on it. I've gotten a few emails where people, but that's the other thing too. Like, it doesn't mean that I'm going to change my behavior. If you call me out on something, I'll take a look at it and I'll certainly listen to what you're saying. But it doesn't mean that I'm going to agree with you and automatically change my behavior. But I'm willing to consider it. That's for sure. And yeah, I'm getting tired of it. I'm getting tired of it. And the email was like, the straw that broke the camel's back on here, because I don't like being told where I can go and what I can say. And I don't like that. And I don't want anybody doing that to anybody. And this is why people feel so divided, is because, people see your name somewhere and they'll screenshot it and, send it somewhere. And then it gets misconstrued because you're not even understanding the context of what I'm saying, because for whatever reason, and that people, I hate it. People don't send me stuff like that. It's hard to believe. Like, I mean, I really have received the bare minimum of things, of screenshots from anything. And and very few people have my phone number. And that's for a good reason. And I found that out yesterday, that I don't want. There are a few people that do have my phone number who I believe have figured out who I am. And that's why I got that message that I did yesterday. But it's not anybody that I've entrusted with it. And, for the most part, people have, can you imagine if we were all just the same and agreed on everything? Yeah, that would be quite boring. I mean, we need a little controversy and stuff. I mean, it makes things interesting, and it helps people grow and learn. And if everybody just agreed with everybody, then I don't know. I think that would be problematic, because that's kind of like, I mean, I think I'm using this in the wrong context here, but if everybody just agrees with everybody and just goes with one narrative, that's kind of a dictatorship, I think, in a lot of ways. And we all know that that doesn't really work very well or end very well in any way, shape, or form. So I think that it's important for people to disagree. And I think those conversations need to be had, which is the point that I'm trying to make here, is that, a lot of people, if you have an issue, I know a lot of people's minds aren't going to be changed. And no matter what anybody says, they're going to feel the way about that person that they feel, whether it's because they have, they've had experiences with that person personally. or because, they just really don't like that. And that's okay. You don't have to change your mind. But I do think that a lot of people, right? And Blues Girl, you have a really good point there. You have a good point. I think that a lot of the things can be handled privately instead of publicly. And I agree with that. And that's actually more my style, but it's not everybody's style. And that's also their right to handle it the way that they do. If people want to call people out publicly, I can't say anything about that because that's their right if it's on their channel. Who am I to say anything about that? That's just not my style most of the time. I will usually contact somebody privately if I have an issue with something, and that's just how I am. But I'm also going to speak out about it when, I have people coming to me saying that I need to be careful about what I'm saying, because I'm not going to be careful about what I'm saying or what I do. I'm just not going to do that. I'm sorry. And if people are taking it that way, that's their problem, not mine. Not mine. I can support whoever I want to support. And it doesn't mean I don't support other people if I agree with a point that somebody makes. Like that. Do you guys hear how crazy that sounds? That sounds crazy. Like, there are people on here that don't like me, believe it or not. There are. And I don't say anything. Like, I don't care if you agree with some of the points they're making. Sure, I don't care. I don't go looking for screenshots about myself. Sorry, I have my Mountain Dew. I never drink Mountain Dew either, but I just so happen to have one in the fridge because it came with like a meal of like food that I ordered, and I forgot that I actually liked Mountain Dew. That's a problem. I know a lot of people. I know this for a fact. A lot of people are scared to like even participate in my chat because there are people that don't like me and they're afraid to be seen here. And we are adults. And I know I've said like the cult brainwashing thing about Natasha, but here's the thing, like the cult brainwashing stuff isn't what people assume it is from like the movies. It's not that I'm saying that they don't have a mind of their own, but I'm saying that their minds are very influenced by another person. I'm sure everything's being screenshotted. Everything always is being screenshotted, and that's the problem. Like, I know creators that get screenshots and they don't even want them. They're like, why are you guys sending me this? But then there are other people that get really, really, really involved in things, and they really, in my opinion, shouldn't, because it's not productive. But I'm not going to be told that I can't go places. I don't like that anybody is. And I know that there are people that are listening that listen, because I have a lot of people that watch my lives that are not in my chats. And I know that many of them probably agree with things that I'm saying or disagree, but they're afraid to be seen. I have been afraid to chat in people's chats in the past couple months because, either I get, jumped on and eaten alive by the people in that chat, first of all, because I've spoken out about the person that they support, or it gets screenshot and sent to somebody else and being like, look who's in this chat. Just because I'm in a chat doesn't mean I support absolutely everything that person says. I know there are many of you that don't agree with every single thing that I say, and they don't always agree with how I handle things, but you're here because you enjoy something that I'm doing. So that's all that matters. And yeah, people that fall into cult, right. So here's the thing, guys. I'm not a follower. I've never been. So when I kind of got caught up in all of that with Natasha, it kind of took me aback. I was like, I am the last person. Yeah, see you, Michelle. I'll be on later tonight, assuming I finish all of the work I need to get done today, which I'm going to try to do. That's why I'm going to keep this relatively short so I can, because I have homework due tonight. But it is shady. Like, and you never know who's doing it. And it drives me nuts. It really does, because nobody should. Right. So right. Okay. Irish time. Irish. I have a hard time saying that name. Oh my god, because I want to switch it. I'm just gonna call you Jur. Is that okay? Right. Jur. That is like. I totally agree. And I am the last person. Yeah. Some of us are good at finding the best in a situation. Right. Yeah. I think it is a blessing and a curse. And I try to give everybody a chance. Everybody. And until I see something that, like, there's a lot of factors that go into what I like and dislike about somebody. A lot of the time their past isn't one of those things. First of all, because I don't know everybody's past. And I think that the behavior of bringing up people's pasts, that's like either speculation and saying, I don't know. I don't like that either. And I don't like it that people do it to Natasha either. I think that a lot of the stuff, anything that's about Natasha that isn't on like a public record or like on YouTube for people to see, I don't know. I feel like that should always be prefaced with an "in my opinion" or "this is speculation," because a lot of the time it's like a game of telephone. Things get twisted down the line. I know a lot of people don't agree with me on that. I know a lot of people don't like me saying that. But I don't care. Yeah, why go to that person? Why right. Right. Well, I think I don't know if they were trying to be helpful. I have no idea. And I don't have a clue who this person is because, of course they don't make an email that has their screen name in it. Why would anyone do that? So, um, yeah, that's the problem. That's the problem. And if I lose subs, I lose subs. Here's the thing though, if people are going to be drawn to me and they're going to like what I do here, I'm just going to continue to be who I am. I'm not going to change who I am or change what I'm doing on here for anybody. For anybody. I'm going to be able to comment on whoever. I'm going to be able to subscribe to whoever I want to subscribe to. And I'm not going to change that. And I know, because, you can't even predict who's going to have an issue with somebody. I don't know. The fact that I got caught up in, like, when I was watching Natasha, when I tell you guys that I only really watched Natasha, I did only really watch Natasha. And that's problematic on its own. Right. If you're in somebody's chat, I don't like if I was to go in Natasha's chat, like that would get screenshot and people would call me a hypocrite. I'm not even joking. That's how that would go down. Just want to make that very clear. And they would be like, who are you to speak about this when you are in Natasha's chat and you are, and that makes no sense. Like, do you hear yourself? It makes no sense. I want people who don't agree with me to come in here. Please, let's talk about it. Right. Well, that's fair. But I allow anybody in here as long as they're being respectful. It doesn't mean I support people. That's the whole thing. I don't kick people out of my chat because what is that my place to do? Or else they're being offensive and like disrespectful in here. I don't agree with everything anybody says at all. That's how I function here. I'm not gonna like have people up on my panel. I'm not gonna, go over to their channel and participate if I don't agree with that, or if I do, it's going to be because I agree with something somebody says. I don't go down that road, but I also don't gatekeep who comes in to my chats. Because I can't do that. First of all, people are going to come into my chats. And as long as everyone's respectful, I don't see any reason to really do that. It doesn't mean I agree with it. That's the whole thing I'm talking about. I don't have to agree with everybody, and I don't agree with a lot of things. Let me be very clear about that. Right. As long as people aren't being rude and attacking other people or making those kinds of comments in here, I'm not putting anybody on a pedestal here. They're not up on my panel. I'm not saying like I agree with or support them or anything. That's not what I'm saying here at all. I think that people should be able to have a conversation about things. And I want to be also clear, I don't like a lot of the things that I've seen with that either. And that person knows that. And it doesn't, that's all. I allow anybody in my chat, and I don't play those games. Because I have people in here that I like very much and I do agree with very much, but I also have people that come in here sometimes that I don't agree with. And a lot of time we talk about it privately. And I'm not going to put people, if I don't believe in I'm not going to have people on my panel that I don't support, but I can't gatekeep who comes into my chat. That's not realistic. And that's not something I'm going to do. In fact, I don't know anybody who does that, necessarily. Actually, you know what? I don't know anybody who really gatekeeps who comes into their chat. That's not possible. And that would be like not what I stand for. I stand for having conversations to kind of better understand people and better understand where they're coming from. And I've had people in here that I don't personally care for, but they've been respectful in my chat, and we've had conversations about it. People that I see that are active over, with Natasha, and I've actually had emails from people that are active with Natasha who called me out on something, and I agreed with them, and I took the video down because I agreed. Hey, Natasha victim. That's the whole point I'm trying to make, is that nobody should be telling anybody where they can go and what chat they're in, because that's the other part about it. And we've seen this on a lot of channels, is that there will be somebody that ends up in the chat and somebody else is like, well, that person's in your chat, so you must 100% co-sign their behaviors. We've seen this before. And that's not even true. That's not even true. I just want everyone to get along in my chat. That's all I want. I want people to be respectful. I want people to have conversations that need to be had, but in a respectful way. I do encourage people to contact each other privately when it comes to that stuff, 100%, because in my opinion, on my channel, I feel that that's the best mode of communication. But that, if somebody handles something differently on their channel, that's their right. But that's the thing. We saw that. We've seen that a few times, that somebody goes into somebody's chat and all of a sudden that, that means that they're, supportive of that person 100%. And that doesn't even make sense. That doesn't make sense. Now, if you have like people up on your panel, and you're not like having, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that yet. That's a different situation. I don't know how I feel about that yet. I haven't really made a decision on that. I don't know, but if somebody else is comfortable doing something, that's on them. Like, the way I do things isn't how everybody needs to do things. And that's like my entire point here. Let's all be able to go into whatever chat we want to, as long as we're respectful. Now, if somebody comes in here and is saying inappropriate things, I will call them out on it. And I have done that, because I don't tolerate certain things in my chat or on my channel. And I'm very clear about those things as well. Now, and I have called people out. There are a lot of things that go on that I don't want here. And I think that a lot of people here agree with me on that. I don't allow a lot of words that maybe are allowed elsewhere. I don't allow topics that, are going off on something that I don't like. And we've talked about it. And that's, and that is your right to do on your channel. I mean, I might do things very differently than you do. And I'll be straight up. I don't agree with everything that you do or say. I don't like a lot of it at all, but I don't mind if you're in my chat being respectful, because we can talk about it. Like, that's fine. That's the thing. Like, you probably don't agree with everything I say either. So, right. Well, I think I'm a mix, Amanda. I think I'm kind of, I'm not really sure what kind of channel I am yet. Like I said, my entire purpose of my channel was to call out the troubled teen industry originally, because I have a lot to say about it. And I started doing that last night. I need to work through it. No, well, I know you're being sarcastic, because I certainly don't agree with everything that you do or say, but you're welcome. You do what you do on your channel, and I have no control over that. I can't, like, we don't have control over everything, guys. As long as it's not on my channel, I don't know. But the last night was rough for me. Like, I went to bed kind of feeling like I didn't want to do this anymore. I kind of felt like, I didn't want to even, because I woke up with really bad nightmares. I was throwing up last night because I have not dealt with the trauma that I suffered at these places. But I need to work through it. And you guys were so supportive. It made it a lot easier for me. And I'm glad that a lot of you guys really helped me work through my technical difficulties. Because I definitely, it's a learning curve for me. This is my first time doing streaming. This is my first time with StreamYard. So, I don't, what are you saying? Yeah. Well, I do it because there's, for this particular thing, there's kind of a hashtag going around that is about people telling their stories about what they experienced at some of these programs for troubled teens. And I went to two of those programs, actually, and I have never spoken out about it. And because there is a podcast and a docuseries coming out about it, I want to address my story publicly before it is addressed for me publicly. And it's important for me to kind of go through it. And it's actually a big topic over on TikTok. Not so much over here yet, but if you look it up on TikTok, there's I'm not familiar with your story, Lycan. I don't think you came on here to tell it, but I'm sorry that happened. I don't like that people mock anything. In fact, I was expecting it last night, and I don't like it. And Almost Famous, I agree with you on that as well. Nobody should be going real life. Nobody. We don't need to be calling people's jobs. We don't need to be calling CPS on people. We don't need to be calling people's family members. We don't need to do that. Like, why do people do that? Leave people alone, And I even consider the fact that somebody took the time to text my personal phone number a little disturbing. And I know that it's happened to a couple other creators. And I'm sorry that happened to you, and nobody should be doxxed. Nobody should be doing any of that. Why do people do that? It's not funny. It's not okay. And I'm sorry that they called your parents as well. Like, what? Why do people do that? Don't do that. Don't. It doesn't, what's going on the internet, or else you specifically see something with your own two eyes that you absolutely have to get involved in. I'm gonna speak about what happened last night. Jess is never even on camera. So what, and you don't, what right do you have to call a family member and do that? You know what I mean? There's no reason to do that. So just stop. And that happens so often here, and it's escalating. It's escalating. And it's not okay, and it's not going to end well. I can feel it. I can see what's going on, and yeah, exactly. And I don't understand if people think doing that is going to make people stop doing what they're doing, if they think it's threatening or menacing. I don't know what that's about. I don't know what their end game is. I don't know what their goal is by doing that. And I think it is disgusting. I'm speaking on that particular topic on that. It's disgusting. It should never be done. And what has happened over on Granny's channel that has at all ever indicated that somebody needs to call CPS? I personally haven't seen anything. So, and I'm saying that, not saying that I'm suggesting, I know there hasn't been anything. So that's just not right. And it's always people that just don't like each other, that they think that's okay. And I think that's not okay for a lot of reasons. I think it is because they have to investigate those things, and the resources in that field are stretched really thin as it is. So, if somebody has to take the time to go out and investigate a bullshit claim, then, that's taking away from, somebody a family that might actually need help, and that's not okay either. We can't be doing that. You're not just hurting Granny, you're hurting other people, and just stop. Stop. And it happens so often. And and even in this community, I don't think anybody should be calling anything on Natasha either, guys. There's no reason for it. Don't call, I don't like that either. That's not helpful. As somebody who, I was adopted myself. I've been in programs. I worked in programs. The fact that she adopted her niece, I think that's great. And I've been very open about that as well, because I believe she was in a group home. And the fact that she gave the child a home and got her out of that situation, because group homes can be really awful places, especially to grow up. And I think that's great. And I've said that 1,000 times. So the fact that people are calling, I don't like that either. Well, I don't have to like everything that she does either. And I don't, obviously I've been quite outspoken about how I feel about Natasha. But I will give credit where credit is due, because who am I to not do that? And that is something that I feel that she did that was very, very righteous and noble of her. And I appreciate that she did that, just because, she didn't even know. She didn't know the kids, and she opened her home to them. And I think that's great. Right. Even if, right. On the internet, I think it's wrong. Yes, I agree. Hi, Breezy. I don't have if people, that's what I'm saying. What people do on their own channels is what people do on their own channels. Or else it comes to the point where I have seen people get hurt and scammed and things like that. There's a there's a method to my madness, and I'm trying to figure out the best way that I want to state that, because a lot of the time I know from what I do right now, some things can seem hypocritical, and I know that. But I think that people, you guys got to be patient with me, because I'm not stopping with what I'm doing. The big picture will be shown soon. It's coming. Let's see. You took in your niece? Yeah. Right. It's not easy to do. You don't get a lot of support. And especially if these are children. And I know that one of, as somebody as a teen, I had a lot of behavioral problems too. And, she took in the other niece that had some severe, and she tried to make it work. And I have a lot of respect for her for that. That's why I don't want that conversation. Like, I think that that's a good thing that she did. I think there's a lot of bad things that she did too. But I'm not, yeah, thank you, Dave. I'm not going to, that's the whole point I'm trying to make, is I'm not going to change how I do things because people don't like it. I don't, you don't have to like what I'm doing, but you also don't have to send me emails saying that I'm going to lose subscribers if I continue, because that's not even fair. Like, if you want to unsubscribe to me, that's your right. You're welcome to unsubscribe to me. That's your right as a human being and as somebody on YouTube, and no one's making you watch my videos. Nobody's making you do any of that. And I don't, if you're going to feel that way, if you're going to take the fact that I dislike somebody that you like, but it's just, it's not, if you're going to take things like that, then, this might not be the channel for you then. I accept that. And I agree with that. This doesn't have to be the channel for you. We can have a conversation about it. If you want to tell me, why you feel the way that I do, please email me that. My email is on the bottom here. You're welcome to email me exactly why you feel the way that you do. And we can have a conversation. It doesn't mean I'm going to change how I do things or agree with you, but I'll listen. I'm not above that. I'm not above that at all. And I appreciate that I'm getting a lot of support in here. I did not expect to, actually. I did not expect that. And I know that people don't agree with everything, and I know that there are some creators. Let me rephrase. There are some creators that don't want certain people in their chats, and that's also their right, guys. As a creator, and if that's best for their community, I'm new here. I'm still kind of gauging what's going on and what, and who's who, and what's what. And as far as it stands, I don't think our community has an issue with any of that right now. If I start to see issues, then we'll address it and we'll figure it out. But I also don't want people to think that if you do choose to run your channel like that, that I'm criticizing you, because I'm not. Oops. I'm not doing that at all. That is absolutely your right as a channel owner to handle things however you want, and I respect that. Yeah, I know. Only issue is bots. Yeah, I'm trying to get them. I'm gonna get a mod or two today. That's one of the things I'm doing later today. And I know a few people have reached out to me. If I don't pick you immediately, please do not be offended. Please do not be offended. It's just because I'm a very small channel and I don't need a whole lot of mods. But there are a few people on here that do have some experience with that, and I'm gonna kind of, and they're available at the times that I can trust that they'll be here. So that's kind of what the first round of that is going for. And it's not a personal thing. And everybody that has emailed me, I am interested in having them as a mod for me at some time. If my channel grows, if my channel doesn't grow, we'll go for that too. Yeah, the GoFundMe, Mrs. Dr. Phil, I have very strong opinions about that as well. Very, very, very strong opinions on that. And I've been very, very open about that. In fact, if you watch most of my lives, we discuss a lot of that. And I agree. I think that, raising money under, false pretenses is really, really not okay. And I thank you, Lapband Cooper. You're actually a new name. I don't think I've seen you before. So welcome. And I try to be fair and respectful. That's all I ever want. Like, if people, if anybody thinks I'm not trying to be, I'm not a disrespectful person. It's not who I am. It's not who I am. No, we're not going to ban people and no, we don't do that here. But I don't know if you're trying to say that in a weird accent, but yeah, I think, I'm trying to read everything, guys. I'm glad that people are being so supportive. That's great. I think a lot of, right, anxious for peace. I'm actually going to pin that because that is exactly what I'm trying to say. A lot of subs, and the problem is that they're probably not wrong. And I hate saying that people, there are people, obviously, because we saw it the other day, that people got screened, and nobody ever stops to bother to see how the comment is handled. They just take that screenshot and run with it. We've seen it a few times now. Even, and I'm going to use the example of the swatting situation. Somebody made a comment in Granny's chat, and it was they took a screenshot and they ran with it, and it was handled quickly. Granny was clear that she doesn't, condone that, and that it was wrong and that is not allowed in the chat. But they didn't bother to, stay around for that. So they just took, and that's how these problems start. That is how these problems start, because people, they'll just see things in whatever context they want to see it in, and they won't take the time to actually go and look at what actually happened. And I saw that all play out for myself. And then there have been people that have come to me to said that they have proof that, that's not how it went down. I'm like, dude, I saw it with my own eyes. So you're not going to convince me that happened any other way. I'm sorry, you're just not. But, a lot of people do react based on certain information. Another example of that was when Mommy Ramblings, Carolyn, Natasha was playing a video of her. And it, from the standpoint of us subs, at least for me, it looked like Carolyn had lost her mind and was pretending to have a conversation with Brian Enton. Now, I went and watched the full video later on, and it was a joke. It was supposed to be like a not, I don't know if it's parody or if that's the right word, but it wasn't supposed to be taken seriously. But from where I was sitting, that's what it looked like. But if you don't see things in context, you don't ever know, especially when it's with screenshots, because screenshots can be made to look all sorts of ways. And if somebody's offended in a chat, they can just leave. Now, I also think, though, if somebody feels really offended in my chat, I encourage them to reach out to me personally on my email so we can talk about it. Because I don't want anybody feeling uncomfortable. I can't promise you that I'm going to change anything for you or to make there's just some things I'm not willing to do just because it's my own character. But I want to hear about it. If something's making you uncomfortable or if I've said something, please tell me, because I want to know. Because sometimes hold on, my mouth's getting dry. Sometimes things that I say don't come out the way that I intend them to, or I would like to hear somebody else's perspective on things. I'm not above any of that. I'm not stuck in my ways when it comes to some things. There are some things that I have very strong opinions that I am not going to change them on ever. And a lot of those are like social issues that have no part of what I do here. And I wish they would leave Carolyn alone too. I do, because Carolyn never asked for any of that. Her channel isn't necessarily my cup of tea. And I know that other people, have certain feelings about that, but everyone's been respectful in my chat, which I appreciate. But that's just because I'm not, I don't craft and stuff like that. But I've been in her chat a few times, and everybody was respectful and welcoming, and, they have their own community. They're doing their own thing. If you don't like it, don't go there. And just because I don't, necessarily enjoy like crafting and stuff doesn't mean I don't respect her or like her as a creator either. That, people can't seem to separate certain things. And the blind loyalty thing is really problematic. Because that's not how you need to. Thank you, Nicole. I appreciate that. I try to do things based on what I believe in and how I feel about things. And I don't want to bend or break to anything, because that's not who I am. Like, a lot of people do put on a persona on here. And of course, I'm going to put my best foot forward when I'm presenting myself to you guys. Now, I've been open about it. I've had struggles in my life. I have been through a lot. I have not always been the person that I am today. However, good luck finding any of that on the internet. Because you won't. But, because a lot of it, was when I was a kid. I had a really rough childhood. And I just, and everybody has a past. Like, we've all done things we're not proud of. But, and I have had a hard time. But, when it comes to, like, who I am today, like, I'm not that person. And I am who I am. And I don't want to, like, have to change for anything. Like, that's just what it is. Like, I can't. And I appreciate that people like my content, because I know that, like, my style isn't always going to be, what's super popular. I know that, and that's, if, and I know that it doesn't always win me brownie points, but I know in the long run, at least I can say that I'm true to myself. A lot of people will put on a front on here. And, like I said, I do have a temper. I do lose my temper. I can get quite angry. But I don't want to do that on here. And I've also, ever since my accident, I've had a lot of time to, I had to relearn how to live my life. Um, you know, I had to relearn how to do everything in my life. I didn't even know I was going to be able to walk. I am, and I've been able to make a lot of progress. But there was a time there that I was in my mind, and how it was looking is that I was never going to be able to even take care of myself again, and that was really hard for me. To have everything taken away from me, and I had to relearn how to live my life. And my work has always been my identity. And when I couldn't do that anymore, I didn't even know what to do. It was so hard for me. But since then, I've done a lot of work on myself. I've gone to therapy, which I've been very resistant to for obvious reasons since my teenage years, based on what I went through. And just because my therapist ghosted me doesn't mean I didn't make a lot of progress with him, because I did. And I don't know why he ghosted me. If you're watching this, call me, please. But and I did a lot of work on myself, and it really opened my eyes to a lot of things. And I'm not the same person. I don't think the same way. And I try to be genuine. Do I make mistakes? Of course I do. We all make mistakes. We all make mistakes. And we all do things that not everyone's going to agree with, and we all do things we're not proud of. But like what character is being able to change. Not blind loyalty. If you stay stuck in your ways and you can't even see what you've done wrong, nothing's going to change. Things are always going to just be the same way. And I didn't want it to be like that. Like, I used to have some really, really strong views on things that I no longer have those views anymore, because I was able to see a different side of things. And it was very, really humbling to be 28 years old and, go from not living with my parents from age 14 onward to having to live with them and not being able to take care of myself. It really humbles you as a human to have to go through that. And I felt hopeless, and at some point it dawned on me, I'm either going to live or I don't. And I don't want to not live. Like, I like being here. I need to be here. I have a family. Like, I need to do my best. And that's what I do. And I try. I've had to relearn my life. That's why I'm going back to school, so I can have a job and a career that I can do. And be able to support myself, because I have a hard time doing that right now. I did have a job that I was doing quite well with, but because of the pandemic, I no longer have that. So, and then I get a little, I'm like, I wish I hadn't super chatted Natasha quite so much, because I could have used that money now, but we never know what's going to happen in the future. And, we live and learn, I guess. I was doing quite well for myself at the time that I was. Yeah, I don't know. I've heard horror stories about mod chat, so I don't ever intend to have a mod chat. We can communicate by email. We'll figure something out, but I'm not going to do anything like that, because I don't know. I've seen what I don't like going on other places, and I'm going to try and do things differently here. And I had a really large platform on Instagram. I was almost at 129,000 followers. So I didn't have mods, but I did have a team that worked for me, and I ultimately, trusted the wrong person and called them out on a behavior they were doing, and they didn't like it, so they strategically got me taken down. And I did fight for it because it was wrong, but at one point I was just like, you know what, it is what it is. And I actually have a lot of I like the peace of not being, having to be obsessed with social media and on top of it all the time. But I didn't realize, I know it's everybody's decision, but if you're a larger channel, I didn't know that people here don't pay their mods, because I used to pay mine. The people that worked for me on my team. I guess that, if I used to, it would depend how much money I brought in. And I also super chatted her a lot, because that's actually what I thought she was doing, which I have now found out that is not at all what she did here. So, because for me, it was like, the more money I would take in, like, the more the mods would be able to be paid. So and I also didn't know that YouTube took such a large percentage until later on too. But yeah, that's the thing. Like, I feel like, at least from what I saw, Natasha's mods were really, like, you guys had to work a lot. You guys had to do a lot of things, and she was on all the time, and you guys were expected to be there. And that's actually one of the reasons, because that's what I do for a living. I do social media management. So, like, for me, like, I know that for me to make a living, and I think that what people create here is kind of an art, if that makes sense. I know it's entertainment, And generally speaking, like, what do? We pay to go see a movie, right? We pay to go see a movie. We pay for cable. We pay for streaming service. If you're enjoying the content that somebody's creating, I believe that a good way to support that is to pay. And I didn't realize that, I used to super chat because it's easy. It's right there in the chat. And that's why I would do it, because first of all, I thought I was supporting more than one person, firstly. And secondly, because that's how I always operated. And then at the other time, like, I know that that's how people make their money. Now, I didn't realize how YouTube worked until I started my own channel and started, like, researching it. I paid somebody to handle YouTube for me. So I was never involved in knowing how to do this. And I don't handle anybody who has a YouTube channel. And I also don't build communities anymore. I just manage, because building communities is hard. And I'm working on it with this, because I like what I'm doing here, and I like that people feel comfortable here. And I also didn't know that. I mean, who knows the truth? We're never going to know the truth about who support. Like with Dalton, I don't know if she was just saying that to kind of flex at people. That Dalton, see ya, AJ. That Dalton takes care of her and all of her every needs. I don't know. We don't know, but that also bothered me a little bit. With the constant, and that's the thing, like, morally, I don't agree with it. Like, if you're most people here seem to know that if you want to support a creator, a lot of the time they'll have their payment information, like, scrolling across, or the mods will drop their link occasionally here and there, or if somebody asks, or they'll, what am I trying to say? They'll know to look in the about section, right? So to have these PayPal pools where people kind of feel pressure to kind of donate like that, I don't know. And you get the super chats. Plus, if you're monetized, that's a whole other thing. And I don't think that, mentioning it every 5 seconds, convincing people that they're, pissing off the haters, and they're, I don't like that. I think there's a right way to do it and a wrong way to do it. And I don't think that that's the right way. I think that, if people want to drop links for that occasionally, that's fine. I mean, that's how people make their money, right? I mean, you're providing something to them. I don't have an issue with monetization, and I don't like that some people do. I disagree with that. I disagree with that very strongly. I think that everybody has every right to be monetized. Of course, we come onto YouTube because we want an audience. Like, nobody's coming on here just to talk to themselves, although I'd be quite happy to do so. I like to talk. And we all have something to say. So I know you're not going to convince me that, me talking about her is the wrong way to build a channel when you built your channel about talking about other people too. So whether it's like a true crime case or whatever, like, the only people that I truly think build their channels on their own merits is if they are offering something, that they are doing, like, if they're teaching people how to knit, or they're teaching people how to make a quilt, or, stuff like that. That's your own merit. That's a skill. That's a talent that you're sharing with people. That I think is like a true creation, but I don't think there's anything wrong with doing it differently either. That's just my opinion, though. I never was. Is MCF Mysterious Case Files almost famous? I don't have much experience with her. I do know that. Oh, that was the refrigerator? Okay, so it was. Yep, I do remember that briefly. I tried to go into her channel a few times. I didn't really care for her personally, but I didn't think that she deserved to be taken down either about that, especially in hindsight now. I don't know. Sometimes with people's voices, that'll do it for me. Like, sometimes people's voices don't vibe with my ears. So it has nothing to do with them personally. I don't know. I don't think I'm fun to listen to, but people here disagree. So I appreciate that. Yeah. She falsified illegal. Oh, okay. I did hear that too. I don't know the real reason she got taken down. I do know some of it. I mean, I don't think anybody should be taken down off of YouTube unless they're literally doing like legitimate hate speech. And I know I've been very open with what I believe that is. I don't like that. I don't want that here. But we do have free speech. So, in YouTube, it usually is a bot that looks at it, honestly. But Critical K, that was how I first started watching YouTube. Do I agree with everything Critical K said? Do I agree with all of the stuff that, she believed in? I disagreed with her quite frequently, and I was terrified to go in her chat. Let me tell you, I had commented a few times that I disagreed, and I never did that again. um, so, but I enjoyed her. I like she had some points on things that I hadn't thought of that way before, and I liked looking at things even though I didn't agree with her. So and I didn't. It was craft. Oh, okay. Okay. Well, and to be fair, Breezy, I can almost kind of understand why somebody would do that. But that is going to get you booted. You're right. So, yeah, I mean, I wasn't around for that. I just know, I remember I had gone into her channel a few times, but I never really watched her. So, I'm glad that you think my voice is calming. I don't think so. But that's the thing. We all like different people. And I know that, like, later on, you might find out that somebody's done something really awful or something you don't agree with, but that, I'm not going to disregard, or else it's a certain thing. Like, there are some things that I can't stand for, and I won't. But you'll never see those people on my panel, and you're not going to see those people. You're not going to see me in their chats. You're not going to see me commenting on their things. So, that's the whole thing with gatekeeping. Like, if there's someone that I don't believe in what they stand for, I'm just not going to do those other things. Not that I've had anybody on my panel yet so far, but that's how I handle it. I just won't have that as part of what I have people watch. But I think that a lot of discussions are important to have, and that's I think I put that as she lost monetization. Did she really? I wonder how. Oh, I'm sure she's not happy about that. She is going to be Mrs. Grumpy Gills coming on today. Jeez. How does that happen? Does anybody know? Anybody have any theories on how that happens? Because I'm not familiar with YouTube, so for that to happen. And that's the other thing about that with PayPal. Like, PayPal is usually pretty good at scam protection. But recently I had somebody who did scam me and other people, and they refused to take it down, or to refund me. So that makes me wonder, like, why things keep getting locked up, because this person, like, there's no getting around that what happened to me was a scam. Like, they were putting out a product that doesn't exist, and people paid for it and never received it. And then they kind of went off with the money and ran. So, if anything is fraud, I think that is. And I know there was a whole group made for it on Facebook. Let me check out that community post. Hold on. I can see that on my phone. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, there's a lot on here. Look at all the things that I have missed. Good Lord. Oh, and well, I'm sorry that she has COVID again. Sorry about that. I don't wish that on anybody. When you break community guidelines, okay. As far as being paused, YouTube removed my due to complaints. Yeah, interesting. Just another way for them to mess with my income. Okay. Well, yeah, she is. Yep. They don't like that Irish crime and coffee time, though. You are absolutely right about that. They do not want you doing that on here. They do not want you doing that on here, because they like to get their cut of your super chats. Like, it's a business deal. It's a business move. They don't like it. In fact, I believe it says somewhere that I think it says that somewhere that I've seen on, like, terms of service, but I could be wrong. But that's the gist I got from some of the things that I had read. They don't want you to do that here. And they certainly don't like fundraisers very much. At least that was the impression I was under when I read it as well. Yeah. So, I mean, here's the thing, guys. I don't wish illness on anybody. I hope she didn't have COVID. I hope she didn't get it again. I mean, I'm not going to talk about that. I'm not going to speak to it. I'm just not going to do it. I'm going to keep my mouth shut. Because I don't wish illness on anybody, and I'm not going to question anybody's illness, because it is not my place. But, I think we all saw that coming. But I hope she gets better soon. I hope her family gets better soon. I hope this certainly isn't the worst case that anybody has ever seen. Don't want that. I want her to get better soon. I hope it's just like a bad cold for her. And that's all I'm going to say about it. Get well soon. I hope your family gets well soon. I hope everybody who has COVID, because it seems to be, I don't know how I haven't gotten it so far. Like, by all statistics, I probably should have, and I don't. I've been around people that had it. I've never had it, and it makes no sense. I mean, knock on wood that continues, but, like, I really should have. It's a third party. Right. They don't want that. That's right. Let's see. Hold on. The fundraising. Well, YouTube has a fundraising. Right. Okay. That's what I thought. That was the idea that I got when I was reading it. When I was like looking into the terms of service for myself, because I don't want to, because I got taken down on Instagram for a technicality, because I had hired a bunch of people to help me, so kind of like mods, but it's Instagram, so they had to have access to my account, so they would have to have the password to my account. And there was one guy who I was close with. I considered him a friend. I met up with him outside of the internet many times, and he was using the account with the name, like not as himself, but as the account to kind of slide into girls' DMs and pick them up. And I have a problem with that. You're not going to use my professional brand to pick up ladies. You're just not going to do that. So I called him out on it. I said, here's your one chance. If you continue to do that, like we can't do this anymore. And he continued to do it. So I changed the password, and he got really angry. And I used to have like these fan weeks where people could send like fan art, and because what I was doing was kind of a fandom, for lack of a better word. So they could send fan art, they could send like music covers, they could, anything that they wanted to, and people loved it. And I had done at least like 6 or 7 of them prior to that time. And somebody had sent me some concert footage that they had. And it was my mistake for not like putting some sort of legal thing together or whatever that says that I have permission to use it no matter what. But I had never had to do that before, because everybody likes to be recognized. Everybody enjoys that, to be featured, especially when somebody has like, over 100,000 followers. I mean, a lot of it, and I would link it to their Etsy or to their page or whatever. I would always give them credit. But this person convinced that person and then got a lot of people together behind the scenes. And I found all about this out later. I always knew it was him, but I finally had proof a little bit later. And they mass reported me for copyright stuff. Because they got this guy to decide that I wasn't allowed to use his footage anymore. And I can't even tell you how many times people must have reported me for that to get taken down. I didn't even get a warning. I just got taken down, and I tried to get it back, but good luck getting a hold of somebody on Instagram. Like, I sent them the picture of my license. I did all of that to try and get it back to say, like, this is my stuff. This is my account. Everything here is you. But because, that's the first thing they ask for is, you need to send them like who you are. And I'm like, no, this is my account. I am allowed to use all of this. I'm not impersonating anybody. Like, you can see that for yourself in the name. Like, it's stupid. Like, what I built was kind of a fan page that blew up. And I ended up getting hired by that band. I don't think I can share with. I need to look in the status of the NDA that I signed. Obviously, I haven't been contracted by the band in a while because they haven't been touring because of COVID, and they're international. But I would love to be able to share. But I built a massive community, and I had it venturing onto various platforms at the height of it. And I never claimed to be the band, like the name itself. It just says that, like, and they knew who I was. I even tried to get them to stand up for me, and Instagram wouldn't listen to them either. And I was like, that's messed up. Like, what? But let's see. I was not sure many people get a portion, people upgrade to spend. Yeah. Let's see. Casino VIP. Right. So I like I've said, I have somebody who's gonna come on and help me explain the whole casino stuff, because they're going to be able to say it in a way that's going to make you guys be like, it's going to be like that moment, because when they are the least biased person that I could possibly bring into the situation. They don't know any of this. I'm like, here, watch these videos, tell me what you think. Didn't say that I disliked the person, didn't say any of that, and they came back with exactly what I thought they were going to say. So they do radio. They have a voice for radio. They're very easy to, you think I'm easy to listen to? They are very easy to listen to. And I've always been encouraging him to get his own channel, but he's not on YouTube. So he's not in any communities, or else you consider watching sports things and sports videos, I guess. So he talks about sports, which isn't my thing, but there's a place for everybody. I'm sure you could find it. But yeah, and I never bothered to build a community ever since then, because That was my pride and joy. I worked hard on that. Like you have to be like available 24/7, and I had to bring other people into the mix because I couldn't handle it by myself. And that ended up being my downfall. And this is somebody I paid, like, and I gave him a chance to stop doing it. I gave him the chance. And like the other thing about it though is because I was linked to the actual band, they had to sign the NDAs as well because but how the band put it, and I know this is going to sound crazy, but I wish I could make this stuff up. The band itself, like, the type of people that are drawn to this band and are like have it resonate with them are usually a lot of people that have like some issues with like depression, and I don't know, not weirdos. I'm a weirdo, so yeah, it draws some people that might be a little unstable, just because lyrics and just the genre and stuff like that. So I was told that it is for our own protection to to sign that. So they all had to do as well. So it's not like, he could have gone on as himself to do it. And I'm like, dude, like, what are you doing? Just knock it off. Just knock it off. And he couldn't even do that. So, it was his own downfall. And he tried to deny it too. But I know it was him. I know it was him. And then he took down the YouTube page as well, because he was the one that was in charge of the YouTube. The YouTube never really took off though, because he sucked at it. Sorry, just saying. Truth comes out. Yeah, at some points, like you just tell so many lies that you don't know where to. You just kind of lose track of all the lies that you say, and that's where people start like messing up, and they start not making sense, and that's when like those aha moments happen, and that's the problem with telling lies. That's the problem with like building your relationships on lies with people, is because it's not genuine, and it's eventually going to blow up in your face. Like liars, it always comes out. I don't care. Like sometimes it could take years, but it always comes out in some way, shape, or form. The truth, I'd say 9.5 times out of 10 always prevails. And sometimes it just takes a long time. And I'm counting on that right now, personally, with the situation. It's just the problem is that liars, there's a quote that says like lies always like comes out, but they usually get their move first. And it's true. So I'm just going to wait. I'm biding my time with certain things, and that's just the way it's going to be. Why tell lies when the truth would work just as well? Like, what? That's what I don't understand. I know a lot of people try to, boost themselves up on the internet and pretend to be people that they're not. Why? Why are you doing that? I think everybody's got something going on in their life that's interesting or makes them unique or a good person or fun to be around. You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand why people feel the need to do that. Just be who you are. Like, at least I wish people would feel comfortable. Just be who you are. Like, I don't think it. I used to see a lot of that, and I'm like, and it makes me kind of sad for them. Because I am who I am, and I don't know. I don't want to pretend to be anybody else, because those lies always come out too. But I think everybody's got something going on in their life that's got to be something that's, fun or unique or exciting. And I think we all have talents, and I've seen a lot of it, and I've always had an issue with, yeah, all about the me. It is. It is. And if some people, hey, Abby, it's okay. And if somebody's getting a lot of attention, they have to, well, I don't think you're a nobody, Liberty. I know who you are. Not like actually know who you are, But I mean, you were one of the people that I was happy to see come in here. For sure. I was like, I'm honored that you feel comfortable coming here. I'm glad that you left. You were always nice to me. And it was really eerie because I had just learned that you can watch chat replays very recently. So I was going through one of them and your name came up and I was like, I haven't seen them in a while. I wonder what's going on. And then all of that happened. And I was like, oh, I predicted the future. Not really. But, I had just been thinking about you. Like your name had just crossed my mind. And that's what I like about this place. Like, we don't all have to, I'm going to keep saying this over and over again because everybody seems to need to get this in their head. Like, we don't all have to like the same creators. We don't have to. We don't have to like each other. I see people in this chat who I know don't like each other, but they're respectful and, they're not attacking each other. And I think that we need to have those conversations. We're not going to be able to move forward otherwise. Now, do I necessarily know how I'm going to like facilitate that? I don't know. I'm kind of winging it right now. I'm not sure how to handle it, but I'm figuring it out because I want to be able to I want to be able to handle it well. But so far, I haven't had any real reason. But that's the thing, like, I don't like that people get judged as a channel for who comes into their chat. I can't control who clicks on my video and comes into my chat and says things. I can't control that. It's not possible. Or else you block people, I guess. But I don't want to do that because that's just silencing somebody. And I don't necessarily there are some people in here who, I mean, I'm not going to be open about it like right now because it's not the time or place, but I don't agree with a lot of the things that they do. But that doesn't mean they're not allowed in my chat, you know? And until I decide otherwise. That's what I don't like, though. People go and they take screenshots and they're like, "Ooh, look who went in this chat." You know, that must mean that that person is like, you know, they're supporting each other and they're best friends, and that's just not the case. Just not the case. And I don't. Ugh. There's one person who I have a lot of respect for who came in here and actually stuck around for a little bit, and they're real active over on Natasha's chat. And, you know, I did notice, and I will give her credit. I mean, if somebody saw her in here, nobody has called her out on that. And I think that's good. You know, good for you, Natasha's people, because she's allowed to be in here and nobody should say anything to her about it. Nobody. I'm not going to mention their name, Abby. They were in here a while ago, and we had a little conversation with them because, you know, they came in here making a point and we talked about it, and she ended up staying for a little bit. And I'm glad that nobody ate her alive for it because it shouldn't be like that. I felt so bad. There was this poor girl who I know supports her because I'm not talking about anyone in particular right now. And I've kind of had my say about everything. It would be really hard to explain, Abby. I'm just talking about everybody right now. I don't think I'm going to exclude anybody from this conversation. I think we are all involved and we all have a part to play. And I think everybody needs to do better. Everybody, all of us, even myself. I'm just going to go with that. But it is also everybody's right to run their channel how they run it, in terms of who they let on and what they allow in the chat and, you know, so on and so forth. It's when you start doing the fundraising and some of the stuff that I've seen, like there's a line that gets crossed. But I haven't, like I said, I have a family. You know, I am a full-time grad student. I am not online all the time. I do not see everything. I do not wish to see everything all the time. Like, I can't be everywhere. I don't even know that some of these people have channels. I have no idea. You know, I don't go and watch them. I just don't. And so I don't know who a lot of people are. And I don't feel like I should be faulted for that either. And just because somebody doesn't like somebody doesn't mean I'm going to dislike them either. So I don't know. I just don't appreciate that. Don't expect me to be able to do that. You know, if you want to dedicate your entire life and being to YouTube, sure, you can go ahead and do that. That's your right to do. But I'm not going to do that. Like, you know, I'm not going to not spend time with my family and not do my schoolwork. And that's what my priorities are. I like hanging out here because this is like a social time for me and a method for me to talk about some things that are really, really important for me to talk about. And that's what I'm using this for. But I have no desire to, you know, stalk people or anything like that. Because it's silly. It's silly, guys. It's silly. But I did feel bad for that girl because I know she's active over on Natasha's chat, and all she did was write in the comments just asking about the status of what was going on with the legal fund. All they said, the only thing they said was, "Hey, I was just wondering, you know, I donated. What's going on with what's the status? Like, you know, where are we at with that?" She was just asking because she just wanted to know where they were at because she doesn't like, you know, what quote unquote is happening to Natasha. And I use those I'm using the hand gestures right now. And all they wanted to do was just know, and they got eaten alive for it. You know, told it's not their business, and told that, like, you know, well, you just came on here to say something. She wasn't even being rude, and I didn't like that. Don't do that. Right? Like, a lot of people, we all have families, and then that's the other thing though. Like, don't ever judge. Don't call CPS on people either, guys. I'm gonna be very clear about that because there's no reason to do that either. You don't know about anybody's parenting. You just don't, and that's not your place. It's not your place, and you're doing it for the wrong reasons, too. I'm going to be very clear about that as well. You're doing it for a reason that isn't genuine or acceptable. And I believe that on anybody. I don't think anybody should have CPS called on them because you're only doing it out of spite. You're doing it out of spite, and you're doing it because you dislike somebody or you're trying to get a reaction, but that's involving other people's lives, and that's not okay. So let's not do real life. Why can't we just do it on YouTube? You have something to say it on here. Be brave, say it on here. Better yet, if you're going to email me, use your name, use your screen name. But they never do. They never do. Never ever. I didn't even read the whole community post because it's like a novel. I'm gonna take a look at it after. But she's saying that we're just trying to mess with her finances. No, it's because people are pissed off because they're starting to see things. Like I said, for me personally, if I had 3 different channels that were monetized and I was using the same community for all of them, because she's not building it in 3 different communities. She's using it's the same people. And then her drama, so like the most popular content she puts out, she's putting it behind a paywall, and she's doing that for a reason, and it makes sense. From a business standpoint, if she's looking to make money. But people shouldn't have to have, like, if I had 3 channels, like, I don't want you to have 3 memberships to me. Like, come on, 1 membership is enough. I would be honored that anybody had a membership to me in the first place. Like, come on now. And it's because people, it's because more and more people are opening their eyes. And she says that it's like, the haters and the ones that speak out about her who are the ones that are reporting her PayPal and all of that. No, sweetheart, that's not who's calling out your PayPal right now. Well, who's calling out your PayPal right now? Because everybody like that, they did that a long time ago. The people who are doing it now are people who, are wondering what is going on with all of these things that you have said that you were doing, and we haven't seen anything come to fruition. And whenever somebody asks, they get, silenced. So, a lot of people don't like that. A lot of people are like, that's a little off. That shouldn't be happening. And they don't want their money going to it. And they don't like the fact that they can't get information about it. And that's their right. So, hey, boss lady. And I don't think that's, that's who it is, Natasha. It's not anybody over here that's been out for a while. It's not. It's people that, are starting to be like, what is going on? Because recently her whole mantra has been, let's all just move on and ignore it. And that's what you would like. You would like everybody to move on and ignore it and not say anything about it. Sure, you would like that a lot. Well, yeah, Abby, like I said, I'm not here to, say anything about that. Everyone's welcome to their opinion on that. I certainly have one, but I always want to think, I don't wish illness on anybody, and I don't question other people's illnesses here. I mean, do I have thoughts about it? I think everybody knows what I think. And everyone's welcome to there. But I'm gonna continue to say it. I hope she gets better soon. I hope her family feels better. I hope it's just like a bad cold and that she gets over it quickly. So that's all I'm gonna say on that, and I'm gonna move on, because that is one thing that I've learned and I've decided for myself. Because people can't always see what goes on with me, and I don't like it when people. I'm just, I can't do it for some people and then not do it for others. It doesn't work like that. So. But I understand what you're saying, and I think how I feel about it. But she just wants everybody to move on. That's the problem, though. People aren't just going to ignore it and move on, Natasha. Like, you went in over your head here. You bit off a really big bite of things, and people are starting to not like that. And I'm sorry, but that just because you want to have a truce like that, I'm not doing anything that I'm ashamed of. I'm not doing anything that I feel is inappropriate. I would be perfectly fine if somebody who didn't like me was having a chat the way we do about me, because I really wouldn't care. That's your right. That's your free speech. Nobody's bashing anybody here. Can I control every comment everybody makes? No, I can't. Are there some comments that come in here that I don't necessarily agree with, or, I would prefer people didn't say? Sure, but nothing that's inappropriate to the point where I need to, do something about it. I think everybody here has been quite respectful. Quite respectful. Yeah, one person who left was very careful not to say anything. Yeah. And I think sometimes people think they see things as people being easy. They see new people, they don't know. And I think she kind of tried to do that with me, but here's the thing. I don't care. And if you stream me, you're not feeding your narrative. You're not, because nothing that I'm doing here is feeding this narrative that you have, because I do that for a reason. It's because that's not who I am. And I've even said, and I know a lot of people have given me crap for it too. There was somebody who called me out on a video that I had put up. I took it down. I took it down because it was hypocritical, and it was mean, and it was going to a level that I didn't need to go to. I don't need to poke fun at, her looks and things like that to get my point across. There's tons of other things I can talk about, and they were right. So I did. I took it down. And people are like, well, no, you need to stand. No, I don't have to stand by anything. If I feel that I made a mistake, I'm going to take it down. That's just for me personally. And I don't expect anybody else to take their videos down, but that was just what I felt was right to do. Because I don't, and to what do things come out of my mouth sometimes that are mean? Yes, they do. I'm sorry. Like, I'm a human being and it happens. And I don't want to make fun of her looks. I have so many other things that I could talk about on here that don't involve what she looks like. Because she's, I think everybody knows that. Her money and no, I agree with you. If it's, right. So I don't have, like, it's not necessarily the super chats. The only thing I have an issue with her super chats for is that I feel that people are paying her to bully. And that was what made me stop. And what I don't like about that, but people are allowed to super chatter if they want to. Like, that's their right. No, I can't say anything about that. But what I can say is raising money under false pretenses is not okay. Is not okay. And it, it is, I guess, her money and nobody's business. But if you're raising money under false pretenses, that is a problem, and I know she said to kind of cover her bases. She's been like, well, I don't know how long this is going to take or whatever. But there comes a point where people that feels off to people. And you're right. And I didn't like that with the Christmas fund that she, always took all this responsibility for it. Now, I'll give credit where credit is due. I always have. Her subs donated to all of that. And I know that some people did get their gifts. So I'm glad about that. And I'm not sure if that was because people were calling her out and put pressure on her, or if that's what she intended to do all along. I can't speak to that. People did get gifts. I know this. So, but do I know that she didn't take anything off the top of it? No, I don't know that. If we look at the patterns, and I think we can all make a judgment about that for ourselves. However, it wasn't her money. I'm very skeptical as to how much of her own money she put into it. I also don't, I think that, it was her mods that mostly facilitated all of that. The only thing that she really contributed, in my opinion, that I can see and not argue with, is that she used her platform to do it. So thank you for doing that. Yeah, it would be right. No, I agree with you, Liberty. Yep. It is. And it is the constant ones. And I have a theory about that. Because, like if you make a fundraiser, because I've donated to my fair share of fundraisers. Like I said, I used to do pretty well for myself. Not so much anymore, but I'm working on that. I'm trying to get my master's degree, try and get a job that pays like I used to have. But as it stands right now, I only do freelance work, and that pays very few and far between. But when I could, I would donate to things. And when you see it, it's that green bar and it goes up as you get. And I feel like that's almost like the same feeling that she gets when she's spending money or the casino. It's that anticipation. And I think that can also kind of become almost an addiction in some ways, in my opinion. And I can see that. But it's all of these bogus ones. And then the mental health one just pushed me over the edge. I was like, how dare you? How dare you have a mental health fund when you treat people the way that you do? Her daddy isn't a glass maker. True, but I try to be as transparent as I can. I do, like I said, I do have, I don't like asking anybody for money. It's the last thing that I want to do, because it's embarrassing. But, there are times my cat needs dental surgery. So, I know that I've been told I'm a hypocrite for it, but I did. I put a thing and I discussed it. And that's the thing. But the difference between me and her, though, is that I am willing to be completely transparent. I will post receipts. I will post, everything. I have all of it. That's, I don't have a community tab yet. I hope so. So if you're not subscribed to me and you kind of, you dig what I'm saying, I know that, according to this one person, I'm going to be losing subscribers for talking, but, who knows? If you haven't subscribed to me, please hit that subscribe button. We do some fun stuff here. We talk about some really some issues that need to be talked about, but we do a whole variety of things, and I'm learning how to do it. So it's a learning curve, so people are going to be patient with me, but I think we have some good conversations, and I would love to have you here. Hit that thumbs up too while you're at it. But that's the thing. Like, I want to share everything. And she doesn't do that. She just thinks that once people give her the money that she doesn't have to show. Right. That's all she has to do. That's all she has to do. And all I can, that's like, I am willing to do every single one of those things. Like I have the paper with the estimate that shows the price of how much it is. You have to pay for it up front. They don't do payment plans because of the pandemic. I can't get him into a lower cost vet because the waiting line is like months and it's bothering him. So he's in pain and I don't want him to have to wait months. So that's why I did that. And I know that I got some hate for it. And I really don't care. But I really, really appreciate the people. There have been a few people that have sent what they have, like what they could, and I can't thank them enough for that. Because I hate asking. When I do my freelance work, a lot of times people want to pay me up front. And I'm not even comfortable with that half the time. I had to learn to be comfortable with that because I did get ripped off a few times because I want to earn what I get. I don't want to do a bad job. I don't want to be able to not deliver. Like I just don't want to do that. But sometimes you have to. And doing freelance work and not getting like a paycheck from a company, I've kind of had to learn to accept money. Like I found myself doing a lot of things for free, just because that's who I am. But I can't do that. So I've had to get comfortable with it, but it's always been uncomfortable for me. Always. Always. But if I can monetize when I can, I will. But in the meantime, and it's gonna be hard for me to do that too. I don't want money from I don't mind taking money from YouTube. If YouTube wants to pay me, I have no shame or issue getting money from YouTube. They are a big greedy conglomerate corporate creature that has enough money to give me a couple bucks once a month. But people are struggling. I mean, the pandemic, it hit me real hard, and it's hit a lot of people too. And for her to like continuously put up these funds for just BS reasons, and then especially to have a problem with when Lindsay had that GoFundMe and her having all of this stuff, that is absolutely hypocritical and disgusting. It's disgusting. Because why, crowdfunding was created to help people with things like that. It's to help people who have like a family member who's ill and need help with that, or themselves, or pets. I've seen a lot of that too. And that's, if you don't want to donate to Lindsay, don't donate to Lindsay. But to say that like she shouldn't have done that and that she's like a grifter for it, shut up, Natasha. Come on. No, I had to say something about that. That's not okay. It's not okay. And the way she dragged her for it too. And when she's done, I was like, oh my God, those who like, sit in glass recliners really shouldn't be throwing stones right now. You won't want people to have anything to say about what you do. And you say that what you do is none of anybody's business. All right. Okay. So, you want to say that, but that you want to talk about Lindsay like that? Does that make sense? It doesn't make sense. I hate that. That actually really bothered me a lot, and I don't really care about, I'm not going to go delving into somebody's personal life. Like if you really feel the need to do that, that's why I think transparency is key. You need to be upfront with people if you do things like that. I mean, it's your choice not to, I guess. But, you need to make people, like, especially like in this climate, there are people that question everything, as I think that is their right to do, especially if it's a stranger. I don't like people going and delving into people's personal lives, but why is this? If that's what you feel that you need to do, then by all means, you do what you need to do, but don't bring it on here and like call people out when you're doing that kind of stuff. Don't do that. If you don't want to donate, don't donate, but don't drag people like that. And I mean, same can go for her legal fund. If you don't want to donate, don't donate. But at the same time, I know for a fact that there are people who are unhappy about their purchase with that. That is not my opinion. That is a fact. I have heard it from out of people's own mouths. So, that is a whole other thing. And that's what she should be accountable for. And I'm just going to say this, and I hope nobody takes this out of context. I'm just using it as like a comparison. If somebody else who's doing a GoFundMe on here, if for some reason Lindsay needs to be accountable for whatever she's doing, then she'll be accountable. That's how it works. But I don't believe that though, guys. I have no reason not to trust Lindsay, from my own experience and what I've seen. So that's not, I'm just saying it as a comparison. And that's, if that's the case, if that's the case with me, if I don't follow through with something, hold me accountable. It's your money. If you're giving money to somebody, it doesn't just become their, you have a right to say what happens with it. I would want you to. That's not fair. And then, to say that it's a group effort to decide what goes on with the leftovers, but anybody who's familiar with how these things work, yeah, right. Right. Well, that's also a good point, Liberty, actually. You do make a very good point. Very good point with that. So there was somebody who she was raising money for very recently, who I forget, there was a couple of them, but it was always through her. If that person has a PayPal, why can't people donate to that person's personal PayPal if it's for their tragedy? Why does it have to go through you? That's not how it will work on my channel. If there's somebody who lost everything in a fire and we were going to do a fundraiser for that person, I don't want the money coming to me. There's no reason the money should be coming to me. Why is the money coming to me? And then I give it to that person. Why can't I just put that person's PayPal? And I don't understand that. That's not how that should work. I mean, obviously I don't know how I don't have a large channel, so I don't think I'm really the platform that's going to be able to raise money for anybody. But I'm a helpful person, and I've given to a few, I've given what I've could to people on here because I like to help. But that's the thing. That they didn't go to them, and people were asking, does this person have a PayPal and she refused to do it. And people were asking because there are people that are, there's a red flag going up in their mind, and they're like, you know what, I don't want to, I want to give it to that person. It's their tragedy. It's not your tragedy. Your house didn't burn down. You didn't lose everything. Why can't we just give the money to that person? I hate that. And then part of me is wondering if it's like a business thing, like she takes a cut of it for, using her platform for it, which is it's a business move, and it happens all the time, but it's shady and it's immoral and it just sucks. And, you're not a business. You don't run your shit like a business. Sorry for my language. She doesn't run her shit like a business. As somebody who does this as a business, what you're doing is not it. You're making shady business moves, but you're not a business. And you're right. She stopped the fundraiser when it hit 500. Yep. And I didn't care for that. I didn't care for that at all. I thought that was BS. I thought that was really shady. And right. And well, that's what my belief is at this point, Abby. And I think sometimes maybe she tells herself that it's like a business thing. So I'll use my large platform to raise money for you, but I get this percentage of it. And I've seen that happen. And, as somebody who does business and things, I get it, I guess, but I would never do it. I would never do it. And I think it's wrong. And she's not like a large subscriber, and she certainly doesn't operate as a business. And I know this because I have spoken to people who, have worked for her, I guess. And she's not like, right. And she did, and started a fundraiser for herself. Exactly. Because she's like, well, I don't want everybody giving all of their money to this person. So, I have to get a little bit of that too. God forbid somebody else gets a little food in their mouth. God forbid. No, all has to be coming to her. And I think that's what bothers her so much. She says everybody here is jealous of money. I'm not jealous of your money, Natasha. I don't need to be. Money isn't important to me. What's important to me, well, yeah, even if you're a legitimate business, I can see a cut. Right, Abby, I know. But for me personally, I would never do that. Or else I was like a giant conglomerate, like a regular business, not on YouTube. Not in a community that I say I care about. Not like that. But right, it does happen. And I mean, it makes sense in some ways. Like, let's say you don't have a large, and you're going to, it's going to benefit the person getting the money with that happening. And I have a feeling that's what was going on there, but I don't agree with it. I don't agree with it. But it is suspicious. And she doesn't like anybody else. She says, I don't care about money. I don't. Is money useful? Does it help? Of course it does. We all need money to survive. And times are tough and prices are increasing. And, yes, but I don't care if, hey, Mrs. Colombo, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I'm not sure if I've seen your name before, so I appreciate your taking the time to type that. I really appreciate that. See, I know other people are watching, and I want people to feel comfortable coming in here because I like the people that we have. We're good people. We have good people over here. Good people. But that's right. Like, I don't care about that. Like I have a roof over my head. I have enough food for myself and my family. I have, I have a car that, is relatively reliable. I have friends and family that love and support me. I have clothes to wear. What do I need? I don't need anything else. I'm taken care of. Like, that's all I need. That's all I need. I could have nothing and I will still find a way to find a meaning in life. Money isn't everything. Money helps. Money helps, but it doesn't buy happiness. In fact, some of the people that have the most money are the most miserable human beings you'll ever meet. And I'm speaking as somebody who came from a place of privilege, because I did. I tried to do everything myself, so I certainly don't have that now. But I was raised. I had a lot of opportunities that I probably should have used differently. But I just let me tell you, I mean, growing up, there were some miserable people over there, and money doesn't buy happiness. Money does not buy happiness. What buys? But I mean, I guess if you're obsessed with money and that's all that matters to you, then I guess not having money would make you miserable and upset. I guess that's true. But I am probably going to get off of here soon because I need to go and do some stuff and do my homework, and I have to be somewhere to pick somebody up. And I can't be late doing that. So, right, right. And that's what matters, Abby. As long as my family is taken care of, that's all that matters to me. That's all that matters. That's all I need. And I'm perfectly fine. I don't need fancy stuff. I just don't. Do I like having nice stuff? Sure, like everybody does. Nobody's gonna say that they don't like that. I mean, we all do, but it's not what really matters to me in my life. What matters to me is my family, my friends, and who I am morally. And then I better myself because I'm not perfect. I do a lot of stuff every day that I'm not proud of. And I always have, but I've really come a long way from who I used to be, and uh, you know, that's what matters. I believe in change. I believe people can change. I believe that very much. That you guys will hear about that soon. But I'll probably be on later. Like I said, I do have something scheduled, and if all goes as planned, I will be on time. But I do have to finish 2 homework assignments and a couple other things too. But I'm going to take care of a lot of things tonight. So we'll chat again tonight. Hopefully it won't be boring because I do tend to get everything out of my system now. But I have a feeling there's going to be some stuff that we can talk about tonight because I think I'm missing some stuff right now. So thank you guys for joining me. Thank you for your support. Honest to God, you guys are great. Right. No, you're right, Lappan Cooper. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Money's not going to buy you happiness. Money's not going to buy you, I'm not religious, but it's not going to buy you a ticket into, if you believe like that, it's not going to buy you a ticket into heaven either. Like if that's what you believe in, it's just not. It's just not. No, when it all comes down to it, when all is said and done, it doesn't matter how much money you have. That's not what matters. That's not what matters in life. And she seems to not be able to understand that. So, I mean, I guess that's on her. But I am who I am, and I'm not. They can say that all they want. It doesn't bother me because it's not true. So thank you guys for joining me, and I'm so glad that this didn't go the way that I thought it was going to go, actually. And I think we had a good conversation, and I think it needs to be continued. And we will talk again later tonight. Hopefully, if I cancel it, please don't be offended. It just means that I didn't get what I needed to get done, but I have to run. I got to go pick somebody up. So have a great day, guys, and stay safe on these YouTube streets.